Hi everyone, welcome you all. In the today's video, we are going to see how we can handle child tabs and child windows in Cypress. So first of all, let us see one example. What is child window or child tab? So let me open one application here. So if we just look at this URL, so here we have a small link is available. So when you click on this link, the new page is open on the next tab, right? So the new page is open in the next tab. Suppose after clicking on this link, right? So I want to perform certain operations on the second tab or second application. So we cannot directly shift to this and we cannot directly perform the operations on the tab window. So by default, Cypress doesn't support these type of child tabs or child windows, but we have certain workaround. So by using them, we can achieve this. So let me show you. So when you click on this, by default, the URL will be open on another tab. Sometimes it may be some other window like this. So we should be able to handle this scenario. So to handle this scenario, we have two different approaches. Okay, so the first approach first we will discuss, and then we will discuss the second approach. The first approach is, by default, Cypress doesn't handle this, but we can handle this by changing the attribute of the element. For example, so if you just inspect this link, right? So if you look at the developer tool, so there is an anchor tag. And if I look at here, href attribute is there and target is there. So whenever you click on this link, the target page is opened in the next tab. And which attribute will define that? Target attribute. So href is a target link actually. So this is the link which will open by this link. When you click on this, this is the target page will open that is present inside the href attribute. But where exactly the target page should open, that is decided by the target attribute. So when you look at here, target attribute underscore blank. So when I say underscore blank, the target page will be open in the next tab. Okay, so when you click on this, you can see automatically it is open. For example, I just try to remove this target attribute. Okay, I just try to remove this target attribute and then see what will happen. I removed this target attribute from the developer tools. And after removing, let's click on the same link. Now you can see the another type of behavior. So the target link is open on the same tab. It is not open in another tab. So this is a different. This is the difference. So let me show you once again. So by default, when you click on this link, the target page will be opened on the another tab. So that is decided by the target attribute of the element. So if you try to remove this target attribute from that element, so the target page is also open on the same tab. So after removing this target, now observe this once again. When you click on this link, the target page is also open on the same page. And if you want to go back to the main page, you can also go back to the main page. So this is a one approach. But how we can remove this target attribute from the dev tool at the runtime? So we have a certain method available in the Cypress, which is called invoke. So once you get this element, by using invoke method, we can remove whichever attribute which is available for that element. So just to remove this attribute and then perform the action on this link, that will open the target page on the same tab, and then we will be able to perform the operation. So this is the one approach. Now let me show you how we can handle this. So let's go to VS Code editor and let's create new script file. I'll name it as tabs.cy.js. Now, first of all, let me write a describe block, describe. And this import is not required for now. So I say describe, and here handle tab, and this is approach one. Okay. And inside this, I'm writing one arrow function, and this arrow function we need to implement. So inside this, we will write a it block. So let me write one it block, and here handle, you can simply say handle tabs. Okay. Now I have two approaches. So first, let me show you the first approach. So in the it block, I'm writing the approach one. I can say this is my approach one. This is the name of the block. You can give any name. And here I'm writing the function. You can simply say arrow function, you can write. like this. And this function we need to implement. This is a it block, right? So here we need to implement. So the first thing is, let us start launching the page. I can say cy.visit. cy.visit is a command, and in which we can specify the URL of your application. Now copy this main URL, parent tab URL, and then paste it over here. So this will launch our application. So once you launch your application, now we need to get that element. So how to get this link element? You can just inspect this element, and there is an anchor is a is an anchor tag, and href attribute and target is there, and click here. There's a link is there. Now go to the selector hub and get the CSS selector. If I look at this, this is our element. This is our element. Or what I can do is, you can take the parent element. What is the parent element of this anchor tag? Div is a parent element, and that element is having class attribute. So in other way, what we can do is, we can simply say //div, and because this is a CSS selector, so we can write dot example. So dot is representing the class. In CSS selector, dot is representing the class. So what is the class available for the div tag? Example. So inside this div tag, we have an anchor tag. So simply what you can say, give one space a, this will able to find the element, or can say greater than a, because a is a child element of div tag. So the class attribute of the div tag is example. Inside this, the child element is a. So this will also able to find the element. Now this is a CSS selector I'm using to identify the element. Now get that element, cy.get, and specify the element which you want to get. Now, if you directly click on this, if you perform the click action on this, this will also open the new tab, but we can't perform any activity on the new tab. Okay, Cypress cannot handle the tab directly, but instead of directly clicking on that, first of all, we have to remove the attribute of the element. So what is an attribute we have discussed? Target attribute. So this attribute we have to remove from that element. After removing this target attribute, then if I perform the click action, then the target URL also will open on the same browser window, so that we will able to perform the operations. So as I already shown you before, so we just remove this target attribute. After removing, we have to click on this element. So how to remove the attribute of the element? In Cypress, we have a command. So once you get an element by using get command, we use one method called .invoke. And here we have to specify like which attribute we have to remove. So the first parameter should be remove attr. This parameter is representing the attribute, and which attribute we have to remove, that you can specify here, which is target attribute we have to remove. So after getting this element, we are removing the target. We are removing the target attribute of the element, so that the target page will be opened on the same browser window or same tab. So after removing it, then we'll perform the click action. So this is the statement, and we don't need this import. We can just remove this one now. So what we are exactly doing is, instead of clicking on this element directly, we are removing the attribute. Which attribute we are removing? We are removing the target attribute. After removing the target attribute, if I click on the same link, which will open the target page in the same tab, so that Cypress can able to do the operations on the same page. It cannot handle other windows or other tabs. So what we will do is, after removing this attribute of the element, target attribute, then after doing the click action, after removing, if you click on this, what happens? The target page is also opened on the same window. So here we got some message called new window. This is a child window actually. Okay. So now if I go to the VS Code editor, so now we got the element, remove the target element, and then perform the click action. After perform the click action, what will happen? It will open the child window. On the same browser window, it will open the child window because we already removed it. Now in the child window, and once you click on it, you can see the child window is got open. Now in the child window, we can verify this URL is correct or not, or you can do any other operations on this child window. So how we can verify that? Let's get the URL of application, child window URL. And once you get the child URL, dot should, I put one assertion, should, which also include, this is the child window URL. This is the validation point. So 3 steps we have done. So first we open the parent window. So this is actually parent window. This is your parent window, or we can say parent tab. And now here we are clicking on link, which will open the child tab. But after removing this target attribute, after removing this, we perform the click action. So the target page also will open on the parent tab. So now this assertion should pass. If it is successfully navigated to the child window, this assertion should pass. And after passing this assertion, for example, after shifted to the child window, now I perform certain operations. After performing some operations here, let's say I put some operations here. After performing some operations on the child tab, now again I want to move to the parent tab. So how we can go to the parent tab? Simply you can say cy.go. And we have to pass one parameter called back. So this is again Cypress command. So this command will go back to parent tab. So this is how it will work. So first we open the parent tab URL. And now we identify the element which we are going to click. And before clicking, we remove the target attribute from that element. Then we perform the click action. So that because we remove the target attribute, the target link will be opened on the same tab. It will not open the another tab. So that we can perform the operations. And after that, if you want to go back to the parent tab, again, we can use some back command. This will go back to the parent tab. So this is how we need to handle the child window. So let us try to execute and see. So after navigating to the second one, I will put some wait statement so that we will exactly know whether it is navigated or not to the child window. I say cypress.wait. I'll wait for 5 seconds here. Okay. So after opening this child tab, wait for 5 seconds, and then we will go back to the parent tab. So this is a one approach. Okay. So let's try to execute and see how it's going to work. Go to terminal and first of all, save the file. Go to the terminal, take the new terminal and npx Cypress open. So this will open Cypress app and select this end-to-end testing and start end-to-end testing in the Chrome. Now, which will give you all the spec files list, and which one we want to run, you can just run tabs here. So click on this tabs. So now you can observe this. Now it is open the parent tab. Now it is successfully click on the link. Now it is also open the child tag on the same browser window. Then again, it go back to the parent window. Now if I just look at the assertion, my assertion is got passed. So whatever expected URL, same URL is got passed. So this is how we can work with the child tabs. This is one approach. So in this approach, we remove this target attribute from that element so that the target page will be opened on the same tab. So then we will able to perform the operations. And if you want to go back to the main parent tab, we can go back by using cy.go command. There is one more approach is also there. So what is that approach? So the another approach is, suppose this is my parent tab. In the parent tab, if we inspect this link, there is an href attribute, right? What is href attribute is representing hyperlink reference. So when you click on this link, whatever the href URL is available, the target page is represented by this href. This is actual target page. Href attribute is representing the target page. So what you will do is, when you click on this link normally, when you click on this link, the target page will be opened on the new tab. This is the default behavior. Cypress cannot handle the child window like this. So if you open this URL on the same tab, same browser window, Cypress will be able to handle it. So what you will do is, first of all, we will capture the href reference. Whatever the value is there for href attribute, we will capture this. Actually, this is a representing the target page. So once you capture this from this node or from this element, we will use cy.visit command. Just like normally how we will open the URL on the browser by using cy.visit command. Similarly, first we open this URL by using cy.visit. After that, we will capture the href attribute value that is also representing the target URL. And then we will use another cy.visit command in which we will specify this href attribute value. That will open the URL on the same tab. This is another approach. Okay, let me repeat once again. Here, whenever you click on this link, normally what happens? Whatever the link is available in the href, this is representing the target page. So this link will navigate it to this particular page, which is represented in href attribute. So as soon as you open the parent tab, directly get this href attribute from this element, which is basically representing the target page URL. And after that, write one more command cy.visit in which we can specify this target page URL. That's it. It will open the target page in the same tab instead of opening another tab. Okay, this is another approach. Now, let us see how we can achieve this. Now, let me copy the same thing. And this time, we will see one more approach. So, first one, I will just skip it for now. Now, I want to execute the second one, approach 2. This is our approach 2. Now, in the approach 2, again, we are opening the parent tab. So, instead of removing this attribute, target attribute, what we will do is, we will try to get the href attribute value. Okay, let me remove all these things. We need to try to get the href attribute of this element. So, this element is basically representing what? The link URL. So, that link is represented by this locator. This locator is represented that element. So, from this element, we have to capture the href attribute. So, how to capture this href attribute? So, once you get an element, dot, then we have to write a jQuery function here. Okay, dot, then whatever element we have captured here, that we are storing into some variable called E. Okay, so E. And I'm writing one arrow function here. Arrow function. Okay, so here whatever element we are capturing, that element we are storing into E, we are passing into the function in arrow function. Now we need to implement this function. So from this element, we have to capture the href attribute. So to capture the href, any attribute from that element, we have a method called element, which is represented by E dot prop. Prop is nothing but a property. And which property you want to access? Href property. So you can say href. And this will return the value of href. Value of href attribute that I can store in a variable called, I'll say URL. And this is, you can create a JavaScript variable. You can use let or you can use constant, whatever you want. This is just a JavaScript variable. What exactly we are doing? We are getting that element and passing that element in a function. And from that element, we are extracting the href attribute value that is there in URL. So this URL is representing what? Target page, which is child page. So now, once you get a URL, what we can do? We can simply open the URL, cy.visit. Simply you can say URL. That's it. So this will open the target URL on the current page. So once this function is completed, then again, we can do the validation. So what validation you can do? The same validations, we can do it. So here. So the target URL, again, we are capturing the target page URL or target tab URL, and which includes this URL. And after waiting for 5 seconds, again, I'm going back to the parent tab. So this is another way we can handle the child window or child tab by writing the jQuery function. Okay. Now let us try to execute this. Again, how we can execute? We can simply go to Cypress window like this, and you can just directly save the file. And once you save it, automatically it will rerun. Save it. Now you can see it is rerunning. Approach 1 we already skipped. Now it is executing approach 2. Now you can observe it is successfully click on the link and it is navigated to the second tab. Now again, it's come back to the first tab. So this is again parent page. It is successfully navigated to the child tab and then come back to the parent tab. So this is how we can handle. There are two different approaches. But in the second approach, we have a limitation here. What is that limitation? So here, basically what you're doing, you are getting the href attribute value into the URL, and then you are directly open this URL. And then we are validating the target page here. And when you are opening this URL, okay, that URL should contain a domain. Like whichever domain we have opened here, the target page is also should have the same domain like this. Okay, and the subdomain can be anything. So here the subdomain is what? Windows. Here subdomain is what? Windows/new. But both are present in the main domain. What is that main domain? This is the main domain. So these both the URLs are having same domain, right? So in this case, it will work. But suppose after clicking on this link, after getting the href attribute, after visiting, and if it is opening some other page or some other domain other than this, then this will not work. This will not support. Okay, so domain exactly should be matched. Subdomains can be anything. Okay, so that is a limitation in approach 2. So in the first approach is what? We are trying to remove the target attribute from the element. And after that, we are directly clicking on the element so that the target page is also opened on the same tab. Then we will be able to perform the operation. Then we can go back to the parent page or parent tab. Now in the second approach, what we are doing? We are getting the attribute of href or value of or property of href. That is also target URL. That is also representing a target URL, target page. And we are visiting it, so that the target page is also opened on the same tab. And what is the limitation here is the domain should be same. Parent tab, parent URL or the child application URL domain should be same. Then only this approach will work. Okay. So this is how we can handle the child tab or child window. So even child windows is also again the same approach. We need to just write a jQuery function like that. Okay. So that's all for this video. Next video, we will discuss few more things. So thanks for watching.